because he was sorely missed without question in his last 3 games. Prove exactly what he's worth to the Knicks. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that he can stop Embiid or Giannis or any of the big men in the middle, Jokic, any of those guys. But I am saying for what the Knicks do and what they need, he's a guy that basically has a profound impact, especially on defense and especially offensive rebounding. Now, I thought that maybe Tom Thibodeau would have taken him out a little bit later, earlier in the game last night when the Knicks clearly were winning and were going to win the game, but he left him out there. But I don't know. Jalen Brunson has not been great the last 3 games. He's been a little bit off, but that's okay because Josh Hart has picked up the slack. Mm-hmm. And, he was a great ad. And I feel good about what I watched last night. I don't think they played their best game, but I thought defensively they were good. And listen, let's face it, when Jason Tatum is off the way he was last night, and they were off, I think they shot like 42 threes last night. And I think they hit 9.
Yeah, I think that is exactly right. Yep.
And the Knicks were 12 of 31 from 3. So if the Knicks would hit their free throws, they would have won by 20. It's amazing how just sometimes it can be really frustrating. Just hit your free throws. Everybody should be able to do that. Now that's where Mitchell Robinson can't even hit the rim, which is amazing. But there's no question that with him back in the middle, playing defense and getting offensive rebounds, and Jalen Brunson and Emmanuel quickly kind of controlling the game. Emmanuel sometimes still gets a little helter-skelter, but he was shooting well last night. R.J. Barrett had another little bit of an off night. And again, I was listening to the radio station yesterday. I know a bunch of guys on the station here are not big R.J. fans. And I understand that. Brandon Tierney's not a big R.J. fan. I don't think the guys in the afternoon are big R.J. fans. It's not about being a fan. It's about, developing a younger player. And looking at some of these players that now have reached the pinnacle of success in the NBA, they're all around, maybe with the exception of guys like Ja Morant, and even Trae Young has stumbled. Everybody thinks Trae Young's the answer to everything, and he's having a bad year. Got the coach fired.
Sure.
So, these kids, they go through it, and they're going to have some off seasons. And when I think about off seasons, I think about last year with Julius Randle. And then the things that he said around the All-Star break about his own body language, the way that he carried himself on the court and all this other stuff. So whatever was going on in his life was affecting him last year. But really what was affecting him last year was the fact that they didn't have a legitimate guy that can control the game like a Jalen Brunson does. Even when Jalen's not playing his best, he's still controlling the game, controlling the basketball. And he does, and what's his name? Julius Randle doesn't have to have all the pressure of always taking the shot. Now, he made some tough shots last night, Julius Randle did, which was good, and was good to see him do that against a good team. Because, there have been times where he disappears against good teams. Like he'll throw at bricks and things of that nature and have off games. But, there was, what's the name? Breeny and Clyde were talking about it last night, talking about how this team genuinely likes each other. And Breen says, well, that coincides with winning, and he's right.
Yeah, of course.
And, so they're all getting run. They got, Jericho Sims is now not playing because of the minutes for both Hartenstein and Mitchell Robinson. But he was a part of the success when Mitchell Robinson wasn't here.
Yeah, and that's the thing I love about this team right now with everybody being healthy. There's just so many options. And I know that this thing's going to be run mainly with Jalen Brunson and then Julius Randle, but there's so many other contributors that are doing exactly what Tom Thibodeau needs them to do. Like Emmanuel Quickly last night, again, burst of energy off the bench, keeps the scoring going when Jalen Brunson isn't there, providing that energy. Josh Hart has been tremendous. He fits perfectly with this basketball team. You talked obviously about Mitchell Robinson, what he brings when he's healthy. Hartenstein's been awesome. All these guys are fulfilling their roles perfectly, and when they're healthy, I know there's a shorter rotation now with Thibodeau, but they're deep and they're talented and they're relentless, and they played defense last night. This looked like a real basketball game. This did not look like a 140-138 stupid bunch of threes craziness. They played defense, and this looked like a real basketball game, and that's the type of game that will win in the postseason.
Well, it's also know that Boston was not hitting their shots last night.
Yeah, but
either.
Part of that's the defense.
I know part of it. Yeah, the Knicks do a lot of jumping and flying past the guy shooting, and then shooting and missing. So let's be honest. Boston had an off night. They were talking about that first game that they played this year, and Boston hit like 27 threes or something. So when Jaylen Brown's back, they'll be a different team. And we'll see that probably over the weekend when they go up to Boston to play them. And, they got 2 games now where, Miami beats Philadelphia last night, and they got the Nets coming up. Mm-hmm. So if they can win those 2 games, that will really tell me something. Because after that, then it becomes Charlotte. Then they got to go out west. Sacramento, the Clippers, the Lakers, and Portland. Those 4 games will tell us a lot about this team.
Sure, and that'll be without LeBron James, as he is going to be out for several weeks, at least the Laker game is. But, yeah, I mean, that West Coast swing, got to keep it going. You got to be able to tread water. But, I mean, right now, I've got more confidence in them that they're not going to go on some sort of extended losing streak than I've had in a very, very long time. I'm talking years. Just because of the effort and the defense, and they show up every night.
Right, and this is like the stretch run now, the last 19 games of the season or whatever it is. And, that one road trip right there is going to be difficult. And then they come home and they got Denver, Milwaukee, Miami. So there's the next 10 games are really, if they somehow can go, I'm going to put a 6-4 on that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I would take that.
Would you sign for that right now, 6-4?
Yes, I would sign for that right now, 6-4.
Yeah, I mean, continuing to win during that stretch would be tremendous. And even if you're just treading water and you're 500 or a game under 500 in that stretch, that'll also be great now that you're 9 games over. And we've said 4 seed or 5 seed. 4 seed obviously would be a better situation, have home court advantage, but either 4 seed or 5 seed, go up against most likely the Cleveland Cavaliers and win that series and give yourself a shot against one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. And that right there is going to be the most excited we've been about the Knicks in a very, very long time.
I was saying about R.J. Barrett, the kid's 22 years old, and, he's having kind of an up and down, little bit of a kind of a stunted year this year. And you think about Julius Randle's year last year. Everybody wanted to get rid of Julius Randle after the season was over. Get rid of this guy, trade him. But, now all of a sudden, because of Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle has found his game again, and maybe his own mental health is better than it was last year. And I would just say that, the thing about R.J. Barrett is that he's not a kid that's going to give you a problem. He is a kid that's going to work on his game. It's going to work to play defense. And if he doesn't have a great night, he's going to go play defense. And I don't know. I'm not sitting here saying that he's going to turn into a superstar, but I am not at the age of 22. And I know it's different in basketball. Brandon Tierney keeps telling me this all the time. It's different. You know. So I don't know. I'm not so sure that when he's 26 years old and he's in the 8th year of his career, he's going to be like a really good, solid NBA player. Who knows? Maybe he'll once Julius Randle is out of here and there's, more configuration, different players around him, who knows? Maybe he'll take off then. I don't know, but I'm not ready to give up on a kid that's just 22 years old.
I don't think anybody's giving up on him. I mean, maybe they're giving up on the fact that he's not going to be the superstar that we hope that he would be, but no one's saying get rid of him. They signed him to that extension. No one's saying get rid of him. But it's just
you listen to the people that, and again, they're fans and they're emotional, and just like I am with my hockey team and my baseball team and things of that nature. But you listen to people call in, I'm sick of this guy. He can't play. And I'm like, I don't know what people want.
Well, the frustration stems from the fact that if R.J. Barrett is the 3rd overall pick in the draft, had turned into a legitimate star, that this team could be at the top of the Eastern Conference.
Still may. I mean,
but he isn't right now. I mean, and I don't think that there's a chance that he will get there, because we've been watching him now for years and he still has the same issues. And I don't think it's a matter of opportunity, because you're like, if Julius Randle isn't around, maybe it's not a matter of opportunity. It's a matter of the fact that he's just not a great shooter. He's just, and in today's NBA, like, if you're going to be that superstar, unless you're a big man like Joel Embiid, and he can actually, he could shoot as well when he needs to, but you've got to be a lethal shooter to be a superstar in the league, and he's not that.
Well, what he is he is a mid-range shooter is what he is, and he's a drive to the basket guy, and he's a long defensive, a player that can try to shut down and get in the face of the other team's best ball handlers or even their shooters. I'm not going to sit here and argue this morning. I'm just bringing it up because this is what I've been hearing on this radio station. I'm like, I feel the same way again about like the young guys on my hockey team. Like we all expect 18 and 19 and 20-year-olds to turn into Connor McDavid. You know, we don't have Connor McDavid. There's only one. You know, we don't have a Giannis. We don't have an Embiid. We don't have a Jokic. We don't have players like that. You know, and I was looking at like the top 50 players in the NBA. Only Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle are in the top 50.
Yeah.
Nobody else is.
Right.
You know, and this is why we are stuck where we are. But I give this team credit. I give the coach credit because, you know, people wanted to fire the coach in November.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody was sick of him. And now all of a sudden they make a couple moves. And this Jalen Brunson move in the offseason turned out to be brilliant. It turned out to be a great move, given the fact that, yeah, they should have tried to add Donovan Mitchell.
They did try.
Yeah, but I don't know if Danny Ainge really wanted to send Donovan Mitchell to New York. I mean, I would have thought that maybe Danny Ainge would have done that for Donovan Mitchell, given the fact that he was a former player himself. And I'm sure Donovan, while he seems to be happy in Cleveland, would have much rather had come to New York.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think that Danny Ainge, mainly, he didn't want to send Donovan Mitchell exactly where he wanted to go because that means that the player won. I think that pride came in there. Like, all right, I'm going to trade you, but I'm not going to send you exactly where you want to go because I'm sick of that stuff.
But you know what? The Chicago Blackhawks are doing that for Patrick Kane. Mm-hmm. He wants to come to New York, and they're going to take less, most likely take less from the Rangers to get Patrick Kane here. Now, Patrick Kane has won 3 cups for Chicago.
It's a little bit different. I mean, the guy.
I know, but I'm saying like teams do that. You know, teams like Donovan Mitchell had been the face for the Utah Jazz for a long time since he got there.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not.
And he never bitched and complained about anything. He's a great guy.
Yeah, I know. I'm just telling you that's my theory with Danny Ainge. I think that he doesn't like the Knicks, of course, with his history, but I also think that there was something about, all right, now Donovan Mitchell wants to go there and I have to send him there. Like, I don't want to do that. And he probably, you know, and there were a couple of deals out on the table that if the Knicks had made them, you know, people would have been freaking out because it was such a massive haul, but they would have had Donovan Mitchell. And having Donovan Mitchell would have been really the thing that would put them in that top 3, top 4 conversation.
And they probably would have had to have parted with R.J. Barrett, Obi Toppin, you know, young guys that, you know, I think most of us, well, at least I like them. I know that they have a shortage in their game and they're missing a few aspects of their game. But I also know that they're kids, and I also know that they give effort. I haven't seen anybody dogging it.
No.
There's only really one guy that I see that walks up the court and then puts his hands on his hips and bends over in the offensive zone. That's Julius Randle. He still does it. He still does it from time to time. But again, when you look at what Hart has done, what Jalen Brunson has done, what Mitchell Robinson has turned into, Emmanuel Quickly, I mean, they're good enough to compete every night. Now, they're not going to win a championship, unfortunately, but they are good enough to compete every night.
Yeah, and they feel a little bit better than that NBA purgatory that I've talked about, where you're not bad enough to get the lottery pick, to get the guy that could turn your franchise around, and you're not really good enough to compete for a championship, which they're not, but they're a little bit better than that. Like, I think that they, like the way they're playing now, I really think they could give one of the top 3 teams in the conference a really good series in the second round.
If they stay healthy, and other teams lose a player here or there, then they have a shot. That's what it's going to take. They're going to have to stay fully healthy, fully committed, continue to play defense, continue to play unselfish offense, knock down a couple of really key shots, which Emmanuel Quickly and Josh Hart did last night. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden it kind of is spreading around the entire team. Everybody's kind of got their hands in the game. Everybody's got a little skin in the game. Everybody's playing, and everybody really wants to be the reason why they're winning. And that's where the mindset, and I think that's what, Breen and Clyde were talking about last night. And I agree with that. I mean, winning does breed a happiness within the group, and that group then can maybe do something special that they're not thought that they could do. Like, in other words, a fan base like me may say, hey, they may not be able to do this. But then all of a sudden you get into the second round, you are kind of healthy, you're getting there, and then maybe the team that you're seeing is missing 2 players because of ankle injuries or knee injuries, or they got a shoulder injury, or whatever the situation may be. And then that's when now all of a sudden you catch a team at the right time. It's not, who you're playing, it's when you're playing them, or what kind of condition are you in, and they, or what kind of condition are they in. So, who knows? I mean, This next 10 games is going to tell us a lot because of where they got to go and who they got to play. And it starts with the Nets. I just want them to beat the hell out of the Nets.
Me too.
I'm so
Makes two
sick
of us.
and tired of the Nets.
All right, Boomer and Gio on the Fan.